Hi everyone, this is Cooking with Kurt. Today, my husband Donald and I are going to show you how to make Rose Bouquet Cupcakes. These are moist yellow cupcakes with Italian meringue buttercream frosting that we're decorating into beautiful pink roses and leaves.
Mother's Day is right around the corner, and these are the perfect gift to thank your mom.
That's right. To start, let 8 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 2 large eggs, and 1/4 cup of sour cream come to room temperature. Place an oven rack in the middle position and preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Prepare a muffin pan with cupcake liners. This recipe will make 12 cupcakes. Then take a medium-sized mixing bowl and add in 1½ cups of cake flour, 1½ teaspoons of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/4 teaspoon of table salt. Whisk these dry ingredients together till they're well combined. In the bowl of your stand mixer, add in the 8 tablespoons of room temperature unsalted butter and beat on medium-high speed for 1 minute till the butter is smooth and creamy. Stop the mixer and add in 3/4 cups of granulated sugar, then continue beating on medium-high speed for 2 minutes until the sugar and butter mixture looks fluffy. While continuing to beat on medium-high, add in the 2 room temperature eggs, 1 egg at a time, waiting for the previous egg to be fully combined before adding the next one. When the eggs are combined, add in the 1/4 cup of room temperature sour cream, 1/2 cup of milk, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, just until combined. Stop the mixer and scrape down the bowl as needed. Turn on the mixer to medium-low speed and slowly add in the dry ingredients mixture and continue beating just until combined. Stop the mixer and again scrape down the bowl as needed to make sure everything is combined. Then mix again on medium speed for another 30 seconds to ensure all the dry ingredients are mixed in and the batter is uniform. To minimize doming in your cupcakes, make sure all your ingredients are at room temperature before mixing them. It's also important not to overfill your cupcake liners. We've seen people using ice cream scoopers, but today we're using 2 tablespoons. The batter will rise quite a bit, so you want them to be just slightly over halfway full, about 2/3 of the way full. Bake these cupcakes in the preheated oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 to 18 minutes. Or until a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean. Let the cupcakes cool in the molds completely to room temperature before frosting them.
While we're waiting for our cupcakes to cool, we're going to work on our Italian meringue buttercream frosting. Take 2 sticks of butter and slice them into 1-inch cubes. Let the butter and the egg whites from 2 eggs come to room temperature. In the bowl of your stand mixer, add in the 2 room temperature egg whites and 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. With the whisk attachment, beat this on medium speed. When the mixture looks frothy, after about 2 to 3 minutes, slowly add in 1/3 cup of granulated sugar. When all the sugar has been added, turn the speed up to medium-high speed and continue beating till you see soft peaks forming like this. Let this rest. Then take a medium-sized saucepan and add in 2/3 cup of granulated sugar and 2 tablespoons plus 2 teaspoons of water. Heat it over medium-low heat. Without stirring, wait for the sugar to dissolve completely and for the mixture to look clear. When the sugar has dissolved, attach a candy thermometer and turn up the flame to the highest level possible. Again, without stirring, continue heating until the sugar-water mixture reaches the softball stage, which is 235 degrees Fahrenheit. Pay very close attention to your thermometer because you don't want it to heat past 235 degrees Fahrenheit or the resulting frosting will be grainy. As soon as you see the temperature read 235 degrees Fahrenheit, turn off the flame and remove the saucepan from the heat. Turn on the mixer onto medium-low speed and immediately drizzle the hot sugar mixture into the egg white meringue in a slow, steady stream. The sugar should be hot enough to be in the softball stage so it stabilizes the eggs, as well as hot enough to pasteurize the egg whites so they are safe to eat. When all the hot sugar syrup has been added, Turn off the mixer and scrape down the sides of the bowl as needed. Then turn the mixer back on to medium-high speed and continue running until the mixture cools completely to room temperature, which could take 15 to 20 minutes. The great thing about this frosting is you cannot overmix this Italian meringue buttercream. Letting the mixer run will simply help it cool down faster. It should end up having a nice, silky smooth texture and should be the same temperature as our room temperature butter before they are combined. When the meringue has cooled completely to room temperature after 15 to 20 minutes of mixing on medium-high speed, turn the speed down to medium-low. Then 1 cube at a time, add in 1 cup of room temperature butter, waiting for each piece of butter to get incorporated before adding the next one.
If the buttercream starts to look curdled, don't worry. It just means the mixture is too cold and it will become smooth once it warms up during mixing.
If the mixture starts looking too soupy, do not panic either. It just means that the mixture is too hot. This usually tends to happen like on a hot day. Simply take your bowl and put it in the fridge for 10 to 20 minutes. Sounds like us. I'm always too hot, you're always too cold.
It's true. Again, this buttercream cannot be overmixed.
Once all the butter has been incorporated, turn the speed back up to medium-high and add in half a tablespoon of vanilla extract and 1/4 teaspoon of table salt. Continue mixing the buttercream on medium-high speed for another 5 minutes, or until it's well incorporated, smooth, and has a silky consistency. Do not worry about overmixing, as you can't really overmix meringue-based buttercreams.
Now we're going to separate our Italian meringue buttercream so we can make roses and leaves for the top of our cupcakes. Transfer half a cup of the frosting into a separate bowl. This will be used for our matcha green leaves. And then transfer the remaining frosting, about 1.5 cups of frosting, which will be used for our pink roses.
We're using super red gel coloring. We suggest using gel coloring as opposed to liquid food coloring for a more vibrant color and so that your buttercream doesn't get watered down.
You'll only need to use a few drops of the gel coloring. However, the gel coloring is still water soluble, so that means the fat from the butter, which is hydrophobic or non-water soluble, will not readily take on color from the gel. A trick to get the color to take is to heat it a bit. From the 1.5 cups of separated buttercream, take 1 tablespoon and transfer it to a separate microwavable bowl. Add in 1 to 2 drops of gel food coloring. Again, we're using super red gel food coloring for the roses. Microwave the tablespoon of buttercream and the 2 drops of gel food coloring for 10 seconds. Microwaving this small portion will allow the colors from the food coloring to take to the buttercream, as gel food coloring does not readily dissolve into buttercream. Once you have this small portion of buttercream with activated coloring, mix it back into the 1.5 cups of buttercream set aside for the roses. Add more or less coloring, 1 drop at a time, using the same microwaving technique to achieve the color you want. We're using 2 drops for more natural pale pastel pink roses. Take a piping bag and attach a number 104 petal tip. Fill the bag with the pink frosting or whatever color frosting you're making the roses. I'm using a 2-inch diameter flower nail. Squeeze a little bit of frosting onto your flower nail. Add a 3 by 3 inch square piece of parchment paper or wax paper onto the nail. With the thicker part of your tip facing down, closer to the nail, at a slight angle, form a conical shaped base by squeezing the frosting while turning the nail. Create another smaller cone on top, holding the tip at a slightly sharper angle. Reinforce the bottom cone by going over the base rim with another layer of frosting. On top of this conical base, create the center of the rose by piping a tight circle with a small opening at the top. Create the first layer of petals by piping 3 upside-down U-shapes around the center of the rose. Pipe in one direction while turning the nail in the opposite direction. Start each upside-down U-shape at the center of the previous U-shape. The next layer will be 4 petals. Using the same technique of piping upside-down U-shapes, piping in one direction while turning the nail in the opposite direction, starting each petal in the middle of the previous petal so they overlap. The final layer will be 5 petals, using the same technique. Start each upside down U shape in the middle of the previous petal. We're going to create 3 layers of petals around the center circle. When your rose is done, detach the square of parchment paper from the nail and transfer it onto a flat surface, and store your finished roses in the fridge to firm up while working on the remaining roses. This should make approximately 18 pink roses, depending on the size you make them. Store all the roses in the fridge for 15 minutes. When all the roses are firm, take them out of the fridge and add a small dollop of pink frosting on the surface of the cupcake where the roses are going to sit. One at a time, using your hands or scissors, carefully detach the roses from the square of parchment paper as you arrange them. Place large roses on the center of the cupcakes, and any smaller roses you can group together to place on your cupcakes. The final touch to these cupcakes is to create green leaves to go between and around our roses. Mix in 1 teaspoon of matcha powder in the previously separated bowl containing half a cup of our buttercream frosting for a natural green coloring. The matcha should readily dissolve in the buttercream, so no need to microwave this time. This will also add a hint of delicious matcha flavor to our cupcakes. Take a clean piping bag and attach a leaf tip. I'm using a number 352. Transfer the green matcha frosting into the piping bag. Wherever there are gaps between and around the roses, create leaves by holding the tip perpendicular to the orientation of the leaf you want. Then squeezing the bag while doing a jerking back and forth motion, then releasing to create textured leaves. I'm creating leaves around the roses, as well as in between if there are multiple roses on a cupcake. Store these in the fridge if you're not serving them the same day. When you're ready to serve them, let the cupcakes come to room temperature about 2 to 3 hours at room temperature to allow the Italian meringue buttercream to soften a bit. And there it is. Moist yellow cupcakes with beautiful Italian meringue buttercream roses. Ang sarap!
Yum!
So good. These cupcakes are so moist, and I love how beautiful they are.
They're almost too beautiful to eat. Almost. These will make the perfect treats for all the mothers out there.
Thank you so much for watching. Please let us know in the comment section below if you're planning to make these Rose Bouquet Cupcakes. Send us pictures of your creations on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Links below. And if you like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Cooking with Kurt.
And don't forget to click on the bell so you get notified when we post new cooking videos. And for our written recipes, be sure to check out cookingwithkurt.com.
Happy Mother's Day to our moms and to all the mothers and mother figures out there.
Maraming salamat!